It started like an ordinary Friday. 17-year-old Emily Carter left school at 3:10 p.m., texting her mom that she'd be home by 4. She never arrived. Her phone stopped pinging at 3:37 near an abandoned gas station on Route 17. Her parents called the police that evening. Not like Emily, her mom cried, trembling. She always checks in. Detective Riley Monroe was assigned the case. The town of Glenview hadn't seen a major crime in years. Riley, however, had a gut feeling this wasn't just a runaway. Something felt wrong. Security cameras showed Emily's car turning into a side road, but no footage of her ever leaving. Search dogs picked up her scent near an old storage shed. Then nothing. Vanished. The only thing they found that night was Emily's phone. It had been dumped in a trash can 2 miles from where she disappeared. Battery dead. No recent calls, but the next morning, her voicemail app auto-uploaded a message to the cloud. It was time-stamped 3:39 p.m. It was muffled, panicked, and one sentence stood out. "Please, if you're hearing this, it's him. He's going to kill me." Detective Riley hit replay. The voice had urgency, and then a name. Detective Riley played the voicemail repeatedly, isolating every word. Emily's voice cracked with fear, her breath shallow, like she was hiding or running. After her terrified plea came a whisper, "It's Marcus." Marcus who? The name wasn't familiar. No recent school contacts. No family friends named Marcus. But Riley wasn't taking chances. He traced Emily's calls and texts from the last month. One number stood out. It wasn't saved in her contacts, but there were over 50 messages exchanged. The number belonged to Marcus Lee, a 24-year-old former student of Glenview High expelled 2 years ago for threatening a teacher. He now worked at a local car repair shop. Riley headed straight there. Marcus was calm, even helpful. He said he'd met Emily once at a party through mutual friends. "We barely talked," he claimed. But when Riley asked about the call logs, Marcus tensed. "I don't know anything about that," he muttered. That evening, the tech team retrieved the full voicemail recording. The last seconds were filled with shuffling, a sudden scream, and one final word. "Marcus, please, don't." The scream was cut off. Then silence. Emily's last message had named her killer, but she was still missing. The following morning, Detective Riley returned to question Marcus Lee again. This time, he wasn't so calm. He denied everything, said he hadn't seen Emily in weeks, and accused Riley of harassment. But when shown the call logs and voicemail snippet, his expression changed. Not for anger. "I don't know what game you're playing," he snapped, "but I didn't kill anyone." Meanwhile, forensics examined Emily's phone. One key discovery. Last voicemail wasn't manually recorded. It was automatically triggered by her phone's emergency recording feature, a setting that starts recording when the side button is pressed 5 times quickly. Emily had been trying to save herself. Back at Emily's house, Riley spoke with her parents. Emily's mom hesitated, then handed him a small diary. "I didn't want to go through her things," she said, "but I found this under her mattress." The diary entries became increasingly paranoid over the last 2 weeks. "He watches me from across the street. He knows where I walk after school. I told him to leave me alone. He said I'd regret it." The last entry was dated the night before she vanished. "If something happens to me, it's Marcus." Riley's instincts had been right, but Marcus still walked free. Detective Riley secured a search warrant for Marcus Lee's apartment. Inside, everything was neat to neat. A single mattress, tools on a rack, one photo frame, but no sign of Emily or any personal connection. However, behind the garage was a forest trail that led to the old railway line abandoned for years. Locals said teens sometimes partied there. Riley followed the path. Less than a mile in, he found something chilling. Emily's school backpack buried beneath branches. Her ID still inside, and her phone charger. Forensics confirmed the backpack hadn't been out there long. Fresh fingerprints, none matched Marcus, but there were partial prints from gloves. Back at the station, Riley pulled Marcus's phone records. Again, one ping from the night Emily vanished. 3:42 p.m. came from that very forest trail. Still, Marcus denied it all. "I was home sleeping. Ask my landlord," he insisted. The landlord, an older man with poor memory, couldn't confirm anything. Emily's parents held a vigil that night. Hundreds showed up with candles and posters. But as the crowd dispersed, a man in a hoodie lingered across the street, staring at the house. He lit a cigarette, then walked away. Riley watched the footage the next morning. It was Marcus. Detective Riley reviewed the vigil footage again and again. Marcus was clearly visible, staying just long enough to watch Emily's mother cry during her speech. It felt like a taunt, but without physical evidence tying him to Emily's disappearance. Riley's hands were tied. That changed the next day. Emily's best friend, Zoe, came forward. Pale and shaking, she confessed something she'd kept hidden. Emily was scared. "Of Marcus," she whispered. "He kept texting her from different numbers, even after she blocked him. He'd park outside our school. Once, he even followed us to the mall." Riley pressed for screenshots. Zoe had him dozens. Threats like, "If I can't have you, no one will. You'll come running back. You'll see." That gave Riley enough for a second. Warrants this time for Marcus's old laptop, which he claimed was broken. It wasn't. The recovered files revealed disturbing evidence. Photos of Emily taken without her knowledge through windows, across streets, at school gates. She had been stalked for months. Then came the final file. Emily_last.mov. Riley hesitated before opening it. The footage was dark, shaky but clearly recorded on the day she vanished, and Emily was in it terrified. She was alive. At least in that moment, Detective Riley played the video in a locked room at the station. It began with shaky camera where Emily walking down a quiet sidewalk, unaware she was being followed. The timestamp read 3:34 p.m., minutes before her phone last pinged. The camera zoomed in as she turned into the alley near the old gas station. Then a male voice whispered, "You should have answered my messages." Emily froze. She turned, eyes wide. "Marcus? What are you?" The camera cut off with sudden movement and a sharp scream. Riley's blood ran cold. The metadata proved it was recorded on Marcus's laptop. That was enough. He ordered Marcus's immediate arrest. But when they arrived at Marcus's apartment, the door was wide open. He was gone. Inside, a note lay on the mattress. One word: goodbye. The manhunt began instantly. Highways were alerted and airports monitored. But Marcus had vanished as suddenly as Emily had. That night, another voicemail hit the police tip line. An automated call traced back to an unknown burner phone. A digitally altered voice said, "She's not dead. Not yet, but if you come looking again, she will be." Emily was alive, but for how long? The digitally altered voicemail sent a chill through the entire task force. The message was short, robotic, and threatening, but it confirmed one thing: Emily might still be alive. Riley immediately traced the call's origin to a public payphone in a gas station 80 miles north. Security footage showed a man in a cap and hoodie, tall, thin, clean-shaven, leaving the booth seconds after the call was made. He matched Marcus's build, but he wasn't alone. CCTV captured another blurry figure in the van parked nearby, a girl in the passenger seat. Her face was obscured by tinted windows, but her movements, slouched, still suggested she wasn't there. By choice, Riley zoomed in on the plate. It was stolen. The gas station clerk remembered nothing except the man bought duct tape, batteries, and protein bars. This was no random disappearance. Marcus had planned it. Emily's parents begged for help on national television, tearfully holding up her childhood photo. "If you can hear us, baby, hold on. We're coming." Riley stood before a map filled with pins, timelines, and red string. "He's running," he said, but not aimlessly. "He's going somewhere he knows." And then it hit him. Marcus used to camp as a coot in Cedar Ridge Forest. Riley grabbed his coat. Cedar Ridge Forest was vast, over 1,000 acres of dense trees, old hunting cabins, and no cell service. Riley brought a small tactical team in search. Dogs. He didn't tell Emily's parents yet, not until he was sure. The first 6 hours turned up nothing but broken branches and raccoon tracks. But at sunset, one of the dogs caught a scent. Riley followed closely as the dog pulled toward a narrow animal trail. 50 yards in, hidden by brush, was a rusted metal door embedded into a small hill, an old storm bunker. Inside it was cold, damp, and locked from the outside. Riley signaled his team. They breached. The smell hit them first: sweat, mildew, fear. Inside, tied to a chair, weak but breathing, was Emily. She blinked in the flashlight beam, eyes wide, barely able to whisper, "Is he gone?" Riley untied her gently. "You're safe now." But she shook her head. "He left this morning," he said. "If I'm found, someone else dies." Riley's radio buzzed urgent chatter from HQ. Another voicemail just hit the hotline. This time, the voice wasn't altered. It was Marcus. "So, you found her. Good. Now let's see how fast you find the next one." Emily was rushed to the hospital, malnourished, bruised, but alive. Her parents wept at her bedside, but Detective Riley couldn't stop because Marcus had made his next move. The new voicemail was chilling, this time in Marcus's real voice. "You saved her. Congratulations. But you were too busy looking backward to see what's next." Attached to the voicemail was a live GPS ping. A taunt. Riley opened the location. It pointed to Glenview High School at 3:15 p.m. Just like the day Emily vanished, a sophomore girl named Mia Turner had been reported missing. She was last seen outside the school gate, getting into a white van. Blood ran cold. Same MO, same time, same message. Marcus wasn't hiding. He was escalating. Security footage confirmed it. Marcus driving, Mia in the passenger seat, unconscious. Back at the station, Emily spoke to Riley in a soft, hoarse voice. "He told me I was a test. He said no one listens to missing girls, that the world doesn't care." Riley stared at the map again. Marcus had to have a pattern, and then he saw it. Each kidnapping formed a rough path, pointing in one direction: the abandoned mining town of Grayson Hollow. The final destination, unknown. Grayson Hollow was a ghost town, deserted, crumbling, and surrounded by hills thick with fog. No power, no phone signals. Riley and his team arrived just after midnight, guided only by the faint GPS signal still pulsing from Mia's phone. Every creak of old wood echoed like a scream. They split into pairs, searching abandoned homes, basements, barns, Then one officer shouted. A shack at the far edge of town had fresh tire marks. Inside, ropes, duct tape, and a red ribbon, part of the uniform Mia wore. But no sign of her. Then Riley's phone buzzed. A new voicemail. Marcus's voice was steady. Smug, you think you've caught up, but like before, you're too late. Then, a scream. A girl's voice. MAA. The message ended with 4 words. Look under the church. They ran. The old chapel sat crookedly on a hill. Beneath the altar was a trapdoor. They forced it open, and inside, in the darkness, Mia sobbed. Alive, shaking, but safe. They pulled her out as dawn broke. But Marcus, gone, vanished like smoke. A week later, a burner phone arrived at the station. No return address. Inside, one last voicemail. There are more of them, and I'm still watching. The case wasn't over.